All right, guys, probably our last algebra review. We're going to do some quadratic inequalities. Quadratic inequalities, really short video. Enjoy. All right, here's what a quadratic inequality looks like. X squared minus 4x minus 5 is greater than 0. Quadratic means it's x squared. Remember back to your algebra days, if you can, that when you graph a quadratic, you get a parabola. So that's what our parabola would look like if we did graph that thing. And because it says we're looking for solutions that are greater than 0, that means we're looking for solutions that are above the x-axis. That's why those are in blue right there. That would be where the solutions were. Everything to the left of -1 on the x-axis, everything to the right of 5 on the x-axis. Those would be your solutions. Now we're going to do it a tad bit different way. Instead of graphing parabolas and trying to figure out where they cross the x-axis and stuff like that, we're going to factor because it's a little bit quicker. Just trust me there. So if I'm going to factor this, when I need factors of -5, that would give me +4, and that would be -5 and 1, just like you kind of see in the picture right there. So my two zeros, or x-intercepts, would be +5 and -1. What we're going to do is we're going to put those on a number line. We're going to put -1 down here, 5 down here. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to take a really large number, like, I don't know, 100. Okay, if I'm going to plug 100 in for the x's in the parentheses, if I put 100 there and 100 there, my first print, doesn't matter what the numbers are, but the first parentheses will be like 95, the second one's 101. If you multiply those two numbers together, you get a positive number. So I'm just going to put a plus sign. Anything above 5 that you plug in there is going to be positive. If I plug in something in between the -1 and 5, like 0, if I plugged in 0 there and 0 there where the x's are, I'd get a -5 and a +1. If I multiply those two together, I'd get a negative sign. So I'm going to put a negative anything between -1 and 5 that you were to plug in those parentheses, you get a negative number. Then I'm going to plug in something on the far left, like I don't know, -100. If I plug in -100 there, -100 there, I'll get a -105 and a -99, which is negative times a negative, which is positive. Right now, that's all we're going to do for the number line. And to be honest with you, I'm going to whisper this. I shouldn't tell you this. The signs are going to alternate all the time. So if you just plug in one of them, you can do the whole number line. Okay, so because it says greater than 0 in the problem, I'm looking for where the positive signs are. The positive signs are from -infinity to -1. And we're going to put a union symbol in the middle. And also from +5 to +infinity, that's where the pluses are. That's your answer. All there is to it. Let me show you one more, a little quicker. All right, x squared plus 3, you can see it. I don't need to read that to you. But do not do this unless you have one side that equals 0. So what I'm going to do first, I'll move the x over here, which would make that 3x become 2x. I'm going to move the 3 over, which makes that -5 become -8. Be careful when you move stuff. Make sure you get your signs right. So I'm thinking of factors of -8 that would give me +2. And that would be like a +4 and a -2. Which means my two zeros would be a -4 and a +2. I'm going to put those on my number line, -4 and +2. Now, again, I'm going to plug in. It's your choice what you plug in. I usually go for the really big number, so I'm going to plug in 100 into both x's, which gives me a positive in that parentheses and a positive in that one. A positive times a positive is a positive. If you heard me whisper just a second ago, you know that that's going to be minus. That's going to be plus. Now, this time, I'm looking for numbers that are less than or equal to 0, which means I'm looking for negative. And my negative sign is in between the two numbers. So I'm going to go, it's negative from -4 to 2. And because there's an equal sign with the less than or greater than symbol, that's when you use brackets. Okay, because that means it can also include -4 because it's going to equal 0 at -4 and 2. And it's going to be less than 0 everywhere else between the two. All right, guys, that's really all there is. Kind of say I think will be a fairly easy algebra review for our last one. So hope it's helped you doing some of these algebra reviews. Hope it pays off for you next year when you're in school again. So I'll see you tomorrow.